right. Hello and welcome to episode 80 of the Rhody Rumble podcast. Today I'm joined by the newest Rhody women's basketball guard, Dee Dee Davis. She's a grad transfer from Manhattan College. Dee Dee, thank you so much for taking the time to join me. How are you today?
Oh, thank you. I'm super excited. I'm a very big fan of your work and all is well with me.
Thank you. Thank you. And I appreciate your willingness to, speak so quickly to when you committed. I think the big question is just why URI, what went into that decision?
Yeah, Coach Reiss, we first spoke, she said, listen, I know this process is probably overwhelming, but you can sort of look at that recruitment process as sort of, like your relationship So when you first start dating one, things can move pretty quickly. And you just want to make the right decisions and just get a feel for who's probably being the most honest and who has necessarily at their school what would fit your current situation best. And for me that was Rhode Island. Island was actually my favorite school coming out of high school. And things just really didn't work out the first time around. So when I went into the portal with that in mind, knowing how I felt about that school coming out of high school, it was a no-brainer. And the kind of person that Coach Reed is, she's an amazing woman, and I think that I'm honored to just be able to call her coach. And I'm really excited about the company that she keeps, and I'm just really excited to be now in the conversation with those people. And so it was really a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, for sure. You were cutting in and out there, but I kind of got the understanding of, it was an overwhelming and stressful process. But Coach Reese kind of guided you through it. And it just, like you said, in the end was a no-brainer for you to come to Kingston. That kind of leads me into my next question. So you were considered, in my opinion, one of the, one of the best women's basketball transfers in the portal when you entered. With that being said, did you have a lot of offers on the table? And then with so many offers, you chose URI. I mean, how do you make such a difficult decision or complicated decision when you have one more year of eligibility left?
Uh, yeah, I did. I had a number of offers, and I'm really appreciative for all the schools that recruited me because as a player, that's what you want. You want your hard work to be recognized, and so for me, it was sort of just confidence booster to say, hey, man, there are these kinds of schools that want me. There's these kinds of schools in certain conferences that think that I'd be a good fit, and so that's always a good feeling, because we work so hard to be able to be recognized by anyone who's in the basketball world. But for me, again, I can just check some of my boxes, in terms of academically, what I can do to further my career choice and to just be the best in that field, which is law enforcement. Human resources also plays a big part, and so that's what I'll be seeing there. And then athletically, they've won before. It's not like I'm coming into a situation where um, this is a team that doesn't know what to do. This is a team that doesn't have the experience of winning. They've built an amazing program. So hats off to them for the past since Coach Reese has got there. Really, they've been on the up and up, and their trajectory has been steadily, increasing and going up. And so I'm just looking to come in and add to that. They have a history with grad transfers like myself who come in and make an impact. And so when you're choosing your school, for me, I wanted to go somewhere. My kind of person that I am, the kind of player that I am, has a proven history to work with the system. And so that was a very difficult thing to do, to weed out in terms of, when you put all these schools on the table, you try to just whatever out. But for me, I think Rhode Island has the best track record in terms of players who have been in my exact position, and I'm so grateful for that. And so again, it was really a no-brainer. But I'm so grateful to everyone who recruited me. Again, the kind of person, coach, friend, all the above that Reese and her staff and body, it's really important to me. And she takes family time very serious. She just keeps good company, and that's all that I'm about. I'm big in my faith, I'm big in my family, and I just try to be a good person. And so I thought that it would be the right fit for me to decide to play for her.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you said it best. And it really is remarkable what she's been building here on campus since 2019 when she arrived. I mean, we're seeing some of the most incredible runs and seasons that this program has ever had, in just in history. And I think you bring up a good point, which is, it's so important to keep a consistent group or foundation. But obviously, with the transfer portal, and a lot of players believe that it's not the best fit, but I feel like Coach Reiss has definitely been known to, retain her players to get them to want to come back every single season. And even some of the grad transfers that have come in the last year or two, even though they're only there for a year, they still feel like family. And she brings that energy or that atmosphere to the Ryan Center, and she really involves the community or the fans as well. And I mean, I'm not sure how much you've kept up with the program in the last year or two, but it really has been remarkable to keep up with them and to see the wins start to come in. And that's not just on the court, that's off the court as well. So I think you're definitely joining a program and joining a coaching staff, I should say, that really has, their plan together and really has, their mindset on a championship. And I think they're getting one step closer every single year.
I agree.
Yeah, so I want to backtrack so that Rhody fans can just learn a little bit more about you. I just have a few questions about your background, but I like to start with this question, which is just what is your why or what motivates you?
So I've been told some people don't know, or because I play the way I play, people wouldn't necessarily know that I've done both of my ACLs. And I'm so appreciative. I love when people tell me that, and people are like, "Oh my gosh, really?" Um, but I went into my junior year of high school with a decent amount of offers from schools that I really, really um, thought would work, or schools that I was interested in, and all of those offers vanished when I tore my ACL and got hurt. And so for me, that was just extremely eye-opening. I've never taken anything for granted since then. And then going into college, at the end of my freshman year, I then tore the other ACL, and I got to Manhattan because the coach really just decided to take a chance on me. And again, eye-opening, knowing like, man, my back's against the wall. I don't even know if I should be here at this level. I don't know if people believe in me. So I don't have a chance. I can't afford to take anything for granted. And so I've sort of just ran with that mindset. I don't take days off. I work extremely hard. That's not just on my game. That's on what I consume in terms of mentally. That's my body. I'm very serious about my body, the weight room, what I eat. I'm a vegetarian person. And I just don't take anything for granted. That's just sort of been my motivation and just my why, because it's like you just don't know when anything can be taken from you. And I'm a huge believer in God. I'm very, very religious. I feel that He's done for me, but I keep Him at the forefront of all that I do, with it in mind, the same thing that translates to the court, and that's anything can be taken from you at any given moment. And so, why would I take a day off? Why would I take anything for granted, knowing that I may never get that opportunity again? And so, just on the court, it's really just the same mindset. And after those injuries, understanding that it was the process of being hurt, the process of being out and redshirting and not being able to practice and play. It really does something to you. Anyone who's ever redshirted before, they understand what that's like, to have that valuable time, team time, taken away. So once you get it back, it's sort of like, this is amazing. I don't ever want to be in this situation again. And injuries happen. They're no one's fault. But when you get the opportunity to come back, the way I have been given the opportunity, you hold on to that. And so for me, again, I don't take anything for granted.
Yeah, and I think it allows you, like you said, when you redshirt or when you go through something like that, obviously you don't wish that upon anyone, especially athletes, but it's eye-opening, like you said. It allows you to really think about, what you want to accomplish, how you plan on recovering, how you want to continue to stay on track and accomplish those goals. And I think that's really unique, that you went through an experience like that. I talked to Tisha Hyman, who recently committed to the program as well, a Syracuse transfer, and she also tore her ACL after her freshman year. Similar story to you. And I asked her, how that impacts you mentally and physically. For you, how did that impact you mentally and physically? I just want to go into your freshman year for a minute. You were a MAC All-Rookie Team honoree, played in 23 games, 17 starts, and then, of course, you suffered that season-ending injury, 20.3 minutes per game, led the Jaspers 8.9 points per game, shooting 40% from the floor and 33.9% from beyond the arc. So, for you, one of the only Jaspers to average double figures in MAC play that year, have a great freshman campaign, but how does an injury like that impact you both mentally and physically?
Yeah, it does a number. When I'm asked questions like these, my answer is always the same, and it was disheartening. I say that every single time. And that's just the truth, but it's what you do with that disheartening feeling that really just totals the outcome. It really sets you up for what kind of process you're going to have in terms of when you step back on the floor or when you're cleared. And so, it was a really, really tough process, but mentally, it's like it takes a lot out of you because, we all know how hard we work. It's like, man, you put in everything that you have to this game, and for it to just again be taken away from you, it's not a great feeling, and that can really do some damage to you mentally. But again, I'm making my faith, and that's really what got me through that process that year, and this really gets me through every day, if I'm being honest. But particularly in that time of need, I just felt like, oh, I'm me. This sucks. I hate this. I can't play basketball. And then what happens is doubt starts to creep in. Will I be the same player? Will I be better? Will people believe in me? Will I believe in myself? Um, and so while that was a disheartening process, especially mentally, more so than physically, you just got to keep the faith. You got to keep the faith and you got to believe. I know the kind of player that I am and how hard I work, it's bound to show up. And so, again, anybody who's ever redshirted or knows what that can be like to just have a year where you're technically not, you're on the team, but sometimes it doesn't feel like it. Anyone who knows what that's like knows that it's hard, but the work is bound to pay off. It really is. You just got to keep the faith and believe. And I'm very big on my faith and believing. And so that's mentally, but physically, um, it was it was saddening, but it was both amazing as well. And I say that because, again, you have this year to really transform your body. You don't necessarily take the same beatings every night because you're not out there playing with your teammates under the whistle on game days, but you get to get in the best shape of your life because you are practicing every day. You are traveling with the team. You're still, a part of certain things and activities that the team does, but you're just not out there playing the game. So you really just you benefit. You really do. And as a freshman, you do come in, you're worried. You're worried about how practices may go. You're worried about making mistakes. But that sophomore year, once I redshirted, I was like, I don't really have to be scared about messing up as much as a starter would. And so then it also sort of gave me some time to have, a little bit of patience with myself, and which is also key. And so both physically and mentally, it was pretty tough, but it was also extremely beneficial.
Yeah, and I want to continue to go season by season here. You kept alluding to it, but you took a medical redshirt year that following year, which you said was best for you to kind of just focus on your body. However, I want to jump to the next time you saw action on the court, which was 2020-21, and to read off some more stats, earning an all-max second team honors, averaging a team leading 12.8 points per game, 4.4 rebounds per game, 1.6 steals per game, and 1.5 assists per game. Also ranked 13th in MAC and free throw percentage and 14th in three-point percentage. Hit for double digits in points on 17 separate occasions while pacing the squad, to a team best 9 times. You talked a lot about it, but I'll have one more question about it. Just getting back on the floor after the injury and then being out for a year redshirting, did it feel a little bit sweeter just to be playing minutes? Like what was that like to just see action on the court once again after 2 years?
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. And again, you don't take anything for me personally. I did not, and I still do not take anything for granted. And so it's like you're out for this year, just longing for that feeling of being in those huddles on the court, being in those timeout situations. I don't even running back to your bench. Like I remember I had this thought during this one game, one of my first games back, and I was like, my coach called a timeout, and usually sometimes I walk over if I'm a little bit tired. I sprinted over. I was the first person to get there because I was like, I couldn't do this a couple weeks ago. Like I was
Yeah.
physically not capable to do this. I just redshirted, and so that just again speaks to the essence of not taking anything for granted. Um, and so again, it just made the comeback all the sweeter, all the merrier because looking back, this was not possible just too long ago. So it was amazing getting back out there, getting my legs under me, talking to refs. It was just a wonderful feeling. And again, nothing for granted.
Yeah, I like to say everything happens for a reason. So, I think in the end, it definitely made you a better person and also a better athlete because you went through an experience like that. And I think you wouldn't necessarily be in the position you're in today, taking, a fifth or sixth year right now, going to Rhode Island and having the career in the other 2 years that you had at Manhattan College. You wouldn't be the same player because of that experience. So Again, I like to think everything happens for a reason. So, it's an unfortunate situation, but now you can reflect on it and just talk about what you've learned from that experience and, how you continue to improve. And maybe, now that you're one of the veterans on this incoming team, if a younger player comes to you or approaches you about something, or if they have a similar injury, you're able to kind of be that mentor or walk them through something similar to that. So it's kind of cool to see that, circle of life moment and kind of come back, full circle and see that, you've been through some of those hardships, early on in your career. And now you're able to provide some of that guidance to, people, whether it's at Manhattan or in Rhode Island.
Exactly.
Sorry, you froze there for a minute. I'll move on to the next question. The following season, your true senior year, your first team All MAC, second team All Met, started in 30 games for the Jaspers, averaged 18.3 points per game, 4.4 rebounds, and 3.2 assists. You also netted your 1,000th point against Kinesis in the MAC quarterfinal. I'm just curious, again, to be back out on the floor another season for the Jaspers. You make such a huge impact in such a big way, and you also reached the 1,000 point milestone. Can you just talk a little bit about what that was like, again, to be a veteran and to reach some of those milestones?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna sound like a broken record. I probably always do, but again, nothing for granted. I think that year, not the past season, but the previous one that we're referring to,
Yep.
um, I just felt like I had the world in my hands. I was like, I'm finally starting to put it together. I'm finally starting to play some of my best basketball of my career, and I don't want this feeling to stop. So what I'm doing, I can't let up. I can't stop working hard. I can't stop being the loudest teammate, the one that's gonna pick people up. I can't stop being the first person to show up, last person to leave. I can't stop these things. I can't get comfortable. And I've always had that idea, that notion in my head. I can never get comfortable. There's this saying, rinse, do every single day, and so if as soon as I stop or as soon as I let up or start to look at my stats or feel good about myself, there's 10 other guards who are doing the same thing.
Right.
So for me, I just really have the mind of just to never let up, just work your tail off and be able to live with the results. So that was really my mindset that season. And I'm really thankful that, my stats are able to reflect just a little bit of what I can do. And I still think that some of my best basketball is in front of me.
Yeah, and I think to see that those stats and that performance carry over year after year, I think again it just goes to show you that you have this mentality, you have this momentum going, and that you want to keep riding that, and you want to keep achieving your goals, like you said, for as long as you can. Which takes us up to this past season, and then some more questions about Rhode Island to end it off here. But this past season, a first team All MAC, 3-time MAC Player of the Week, and 1-time Met Player of the Week. Appeared in 31 games while starting in 30. Averaged 15.4, 7.5 rebounds, 2.9 assists, and 2.4 steals. Also recorded 9 double doubles and 1 triple double. Posted a career high 37 points against Siena as well. When you reflect on this past season, what made this season so special for you, and what do you hope to take from what you learned this season to the next season at Rhode Island?
This was such a growth year, I think, because I was sort of put into this leadership position, and I had sort of been put into this leadership position for previous seasons as well. But this past season, particularly, I felt that people really relied on me to be both the vocal leader, to be the physical leader, the mental leader. And so this was uncharted territory for me because I felt as if in previous years I always had a little bit more help in some other players being in that leadership role as well. So this year as well, I had a lot of help as well from some of my teammates. But as the person who's been in the program the longest, which it's kind of rare for a player to stay out in school for 5 years, and I
Yeah.
really embraced that. I really embraced that. I took again nothing for granted. I'm going to keep saying that. Just telling myself every day, the best is yet to come. So you just got to put one foot under the other, work your tail off, and then just be okay with the results. And that really got me through having that on my mindset.
Yeah, and I think you said it right there, but I think I respect you a little bit more because you've spent, so many years at one school. You said it earlier, but you really don't see that often anymore, especially in college basketball with NIL and the transfer portal. But the term commitment is really is so many different ways you could take that, because is someone really committed if they're, sticking to the plan, sticking to, the program and what their style is, or the system really. And I think, for so long you were able to kind of, like you said, be that leader, that vocal point in that locker room and really just be the person that they relied on for the last, 5 years. So I think, as someone who follows college basketball and you again see all these different transfers and so many people are going to, sometimes 3 or 4 different schools in their college career, for you to be at that school for 5 years and to accomplish what you did, I think I respect you a little bit more coming to Rhode Island and, again, seeing what you're able to take from that experience in Manhattan. So that's definitely
I
interesting.
just want to say, and that's no shade to those people, who do transfer 2 and 3 and 4 times. There's no shade at all. I think as college athletes, we've got to do what we've got to do to put ourselves and our families in the best position possible. But just for me, it was in my best interest to stay loyal to the people who had been loyal to me since day one, and the people who had been believed in me since all of my since I was 17 or 18 years old. And so again, no shame to those who do benefit and profit off the transfer portal multiple times. But that was not in my cards. I'm extremely grateful that I was in the one place for 5 years, and I don't know if I'd be doing. I don't know if I'd be sitting here talking with you if it wasn't for those people who've been by my side for the past 5 years.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Again, and sometimes it's just in best interest of those people and it's best for their families and again, no disrespect or shade to them, but I think again it definitely speaks to who you are that you were so loyal to that program and the people and the support that you got there. I want to move forward now to a couple more questions about Rhode Island. First, one question I didn't get to ask this in the beginning about just your upbringing, but I'm curious, how you got into the sport of basketball. Was there someone that pushed you along the way, or how did that love or passion for the game evolve over time?
Yeah, my both my parents were athletes. My dad played basketball, growing up all the time. My mom was more so a track and field kind of girl, but I have photos that my family shows me when I was like maybe 2 and 3 years old, playing with like little tight hoops and like just I always had a basketball in my hand. So I don't know who did that. I don't really know who put that little ball into the crib, but for as long as I can remember and for all of the photos in my home that I have to show for it, basketball has just been a huge part of my life, and I appreciate the game, and I also appreciate not just the game itself, but the fundamental life lessons that come along with it. And for me, that's things like your more who you are as a person, your character, your morals, building a sisterhood, teamwork. These are all life skills that are just invaluable. And so I've always looked at basketball as more than just a game. It's something that it can be used as a tool to teach and to guide me as I go through life.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer. Growing up, did you also have, a favorite team or favorite athlete, someone that you modeled your game after or use similar moves to on the court?
I did. Watching, I really was a big fan of Maya Moore all throughout my life, and I still, and we're not the same exact position, but like I've just always admired her game and just the kind of leader she was, and seeing her do great things in college, and then at the professional level, on the women's side, and then on the men's side, Stephen Curry is just phenomenal to me. I think that there's no one in comparison to the amazing things that he's done to change the game, and somebody who also wasn't highly recruited. I was not highly recruited again. And for someone who sort of just put one foot in front of the other, day after day, sort of took nothing for granted, understood that, hard work means everything, rinse do every day. You don't really have time to sort of look back and think about how good you are. Because opportunities that come by for small guards like us, they don't really come by that often. And so I think Stephen Curry is a pretty admirable guy.
I think that's a great answer. I mean, he's the best shooter of all time, and he hails from at the time they weren't in the Atlantic 10, but now Davidson up at school in the Atlantic 10, which takes us back up to a few more questions about Rhode Island here. First of all, just a great answer. I'm a big fan of Steph Curry as well. But I know you've had the chance to visit campus and be out to Rhode Island. On your visit, did you have the chance to meet any of the players, any of your future teammates?
Oh my gosh, I did. They all were wonderful. They took the time out to be with me and to either have lunch or dinner, and some of us even went bowling. And then it just felt so organic. It just felt so natural, and I'm very appreciative for them for just welcoming me. I'm not even there yet, I'm not even living on campus full time, and we some of us text all the time. I'm constantly reaching out. We're constantly relationshiping, is what Coach Reiss calls it, because that's so important. I have not gotten a chance to really relationship as much with Tisha in person, but we will. I'm sure we'll be the best of friends. But being able to see Sophie Phillips, being able to see Ines, Maya, talking, and then I also got a chance to hang out with Say, who's not in the program anymore, but that's just speak to the kind of person she is and the kind of relationships that Coach Reiss and her staff has built with players, whether you're on the roster now, whether you're on your way out the door. People, they just care about one another and just want the best for anyone who's to come. And I even got a chance to hang out with Madison as well, Maddie as well, and just all good people. And again, circling back to the my response about how when I made this decision, it was pretty important for me to look at people in my same position, so grad trans guards, how have their situations been? The system support benefit players like myself. We see that, and again, Maddie and Say, and so yeah, they did take the time out of their day, to hang out with me. Again, some of us text, and I'm just really looking forward to be on campus with all of them this summer.
Yeah, I think that's going to be awesome. And I think that really speaks to Coach Reiss as well, is that, she really believes in once a Ram, always a Ram. A couple of those players are graduating, or, a few of them have already entered the portal. But, for instance, Say and Madison are graduating, and they've only spent 1 year here at URI, and they really care so much about the program, and they've helped kind of pave the way for future Rams like yourself and, so on, that they're currently recruiting. So I think it's really special, again, what she is building and kind of that family atmosphere or family environment that she's building with her players. The relationships are so big, like you alluded to, and Tammi Reiss does such a great job on that. Which kind of leads me into my next question. I have two more for you, but when you visited the program, I'm kind of curious what you liked about Coach Reiss as a person, as a coach, and then also, did you have the chance to check out, some of the campus facilities on your visit? I know we have a new practice gym coming, and as well as the Ryan Center. Just what did you think of, meeting Coach Reiss as a person, as a coach, and then also the facilities on your visit?
I can't say enough about Coach Reiss. And I think that one of the reasons that really just sort of led me to Rhode Island was because, the same way coaches do their research on recruits, we like to do the same thing. And so everyone that I sort of asked about Coach Reiss, or reach out to and ask questions like, hey, this what do you think about Coach Reiss? Or like, I'm thinking about Rhode Island. No one had anything negative to say about her. It's just like, wow, that's insane. That speaks to the kind of person you are, because, in this business, I'm sure it seems big to players at the time, but I feel like it's super, super small once you get to that coaching perspective. And Coach Reiss, I'm actually going to be wearing 32. That was Coach Reiss's number. She's blessed me with allowing me to do that. As a New York City guard, she's somebody who I completely look up to. I think that she's just done some amazing things throughout her career. She's just been a champion at all levels, really. In high school, I think in 1988, she's led her team to a state championship, a Class C state championship. She's like got drafted fifth overall. She done amazing things at UVA. She's played in 3 consecutive Final Fours there. I think her overall career 3-point shooting is like a 4.416. Like she's just done some amazing things for a guard like myself to be able to just look up to and say, wow, these things are possible for this small New York guard. Like the sky's the limit. And so I was just extremely attracted to Coach Reiss, and because of the things that she's done in the past, her track record. But never mind that, just kind of the person that she is and the company that she keeps. It really speaks for itself. And her coaching staff, I'm not giving them enough credit. They're all phenomenal. They're all amazing, and they all, contributed to my decision and why I chose Rhode Island as well. And in terms of on campus, of course, we visited the Ryan Center. Of course, that was like one of the first things that I wanted to see. And I actually played there in high school for a camp, I believe. And so I sort of knew what that looked like. So I was more so interested in other things around campus. And just, being a grad student, I'm not sure if I'll be necessarily in all of the buildings like per se an underclassmen would. But I still got to see all of those. I got to see all the facilities. the multiple gyms. Again, I take the weight room pretty seriously. I take my body pretty seriously. And so being able to see the pool, being able to see certain facilities, just meant the world to me because it's like, wow, this is the place that I'm gonna call home in the upcoming for the next year, really. And again, like you said, once a Ram, always a Ram. So I'm gonna call that place home for a very long time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're really gonna appreciate the campus. And even if you're not able to take advantage of all the facilities and meet all of the people there on campus, fans or even, just supporters of the program, you'll still, I think, immerse yourself very well and fit very well into that system that again, Coach Reiss and her staff are building. And also, I mean, campus is not too far away from the beach as well. So that's definitely appealing to a lot of recruits and commits to the program and the programs that we have here. So I think, just being in the state of Rhode Island and then just taking advantage of campus as well, you'll really, find your way and find your rhythm. And I think as well, just being in the Ryan Center with that crowd that we get night after night. And, when we're winning, things are good. And, lately for this program, they have been winning a lot. And again, they're just getting one step closer every year. So we've definitely grown our fan base a lot. And I think it's a good time to be a Rhode Island Rem, especially in the women's basketball side. So I have one more question for you, just looking ahead to this next season. Can you just tell the Rhody fans who may be watching this at home, what they're getting out of Dee Dee Davis and then what they're also getting out of the 2023 Rhode Island Rams, next season?
Oh yeah. Well, first and foremost, never mind on the court or the things that pop up the box score. I'm gonna be a great teammate. They're gonna look at somebody in Dee Dee Davis who's coming in who is just a phenomenal kid. I care about the people around me. I truly do. I'm looking to be an absolute energizer bunny. I'm looking to be the biggest hype man for those who are wearing the same jersey as me. And just a leader, just somebody who people can really talk to, whether that's what come game time or not, in practice or not. I call lots of high fives, and when you touch your teammates, I feel like I'm giving you love. So I'm very big on love taps. So yeah, you're just gonna get a kid who's a great teammate. That's really what I like to say and think about myself because it's true. And I think that all the great teams have teammates who care and they're genuinely, they want to be that shoulder that people can really rely on. And in terms of on the court, I'm a speed guard. I work on my speed like no other. I think that it's one of my best assets, and I use it to the best of my ability at all times. So you're going to get a pretty quick, fast, dynamic scoring guard who likes to play defense. I like to play defense. I like to rebound the ball as well, even though I'm only 5'8". Yeah, I'm just hype. I'm just a hype person, and it'll come out in the game. People will see. I'm pretty like soft spoken and calm when I'm off the court, but on the court, it's a different story. And so, yeah, small guard who's looking to come and just be a great teammate and get after it.
Yeah, well, I think the program is definitely very lucky to have you, and I'm definitely excited about watching and covering some of the games. Dee Dee, thank you so much again for taking the time this afternoon. Best of luck to you and the program next season, and of course, go Rhody. I appreciate it again.
Rhody, anything. Thank you so much.
Thank you.